Dang, we just do not have any transitions this week because there's no way I can think of to tie the penguin in with
Yeah.
Chuck Norris's Invasion USA. Daniel, this was your fault. Get him going while I take care of some business real quick.
All right, no problem. Yeah, so for my solo review, I watched a classic Canon Films Chuck Norris movie, Invasion USA. I've seen clips from other YouTubers who've watched this movie, and I remember hearing about it in the documentary for that was done on Canon Films. It was Electric Boogaloo, and this was one of those movies that was kind of seen as a highlight of the Canon Films era. Um, and so and me personally, I've never actually seen a Chuck Norris movie, so I'm like, well, might as well give it a try. I mean, if it's a fun action movie like everyone was saying it is, then all right. I found it on Tubi, and so I gave it a watch, and yeah, it's a fun 80s action movie. Um, not much in the way of plot, but that's okay. Um,
Right, you are not watching a Chuck Norris action movie for the plot.
right, yeah. But the plot, such as it is, it revolves around Chuck Norris's character, Matt Hunter, who is he's an old CIA agent and who's left the agency, and now he's living out in the Florida Everglades. And an old nemesis of his, oh god, Rostov, I think was his name, uh, is planning basically a full scale, no, not full scale, but a little invasion of the United States. He's got all these mercenaries and terrorists all together, and they go into Florida and wreak havoc. Um, and so Chuck Norris is called into duty to stop them, and the rest of the movie is basically just Chuck driving around and getting into gunfights and lots of explosions. And I will say Chuck Norris kind of he kind of comes across like a sociopath in this movie. um, and I think some of that's probably because Chuck Norris isn't much of an actor. Um, but his tough guy persona is kind of like a sociopath, and like there's one scene where the bad guys are trying to blow up a church full of people, but he stops the bombing from happening, and he's standing on the roof over them, and he said, "Oh, it didn't work, did it?" And he throws the bomb down to him, and he's got the two wires. Now it will. um, and so, but yeah, I mean, it's it's just wall to wall action, and I really don't have much more to say about it beyond just it's a fun 80s action movie. If that's your thing, you'll get a lot of enjoyment out of it.
So what you're saying is that if you're into that type of thing, it'll make a fine addition to your collection.
Indeed, yes.
Where can people go watch this wall-to-wall ridiculous Chuck Norris action?
I watched it on Tubi. Um, you might be able to find it somewhere else. It could show up on Amazon at some point. I don't know, but yeah, Tubi's the best place to watch it.
Well, that means it's free. You just have to suffer through a couple of ads.
Yeah, and not very long either. It's like 100 minutes.
Okay, well, it is a canon movie, so
Yeah,
even their bad movies, they weren't about to spend extra money on extra scenes.
exactly. Yeah.